Because now you're going to see if the pictures in your mind match Angela Johnson's. Ruth, can you come in just a little bit? Our circle feels too big. The Leaving Morning, story by Angela Johnson. The leaving happened on a soupy, misty morning when you could hear the street sweeper. Shh. Can you see? Did you imagine this? Yes.
I saw those like this morning, like cleaning the field.
You did?
Yeah.
All right, so she has one in her neighborhood. Nice connection. We pressed our faces against the hall window and left cold lips on the pane. Can you see the little lips?
Yeah.
Used to do that on my dad's car. He really didn't like that. It was the leaving morning. Boxes of clothes, toys, dishes, and pictures of us everywhere. Did you picture it like this?
Yep. Yeah.
Our friends. Different, right? The grocer.
Yeah.
Everybody in our building. Yeah. And the cousins, especially the cousins. I didn't picture them shaking hands. Oh, they're passing a cookie. We said goodbye to our cousins all day long. Look at how it was bright out here and now it's dark here. All day long. Mama said the people in a truck would move us and take care of everything we loved on the leaving morning. Did you picture this girl?
No.
I had no idea.
She was there.
I didn't even know she was there from the words. All I knew was that there was the boy. We woke up early and had hot cocoa from the deli across the street. I made more lips on the deli window and watched the movers on the leaving morning. Hey, Nydia, you said you thought it was cold. What do you think? Were you right? Look at what they're wearing.
Yes.
You think it's cold out?
Yes.
You were right, Nydia. Just from the words you got that idea. That was great from the hot cocoa. We sat on the steps and watched the movers. They had blue moving clothes on and they made bumping noises on the stairs. There were lots of whistles and... How would I say it? Is it please watch out, kids? How would I say it?
I forgot it.
You did not forget it. Come on, how do you say it? Watch out, kids. Who wants to try it? Oh, good, more people. Olga? No? Francisco?
Can you move out of the way?
Okay, exactly. Watch out, kids. Wouldn't be, excuse me, please, but I have this really heavy box. Could you please get out of my way? Right? Watch out, kids. Got me a moving hat and a kiss on the head from Miss Maddie upstairs, and on the leaving morning, she told me to watch myself in the new place when I cross the street and think of her. I sat between Mama and Daddy holding their hands. My daddy said in a little while we'd be someplace we'd love. Does it match up well?
But I thought they were in the car.
You thought they were in the car. Interesting, but they're still in the home. So I left lips on the front window of our apartment and said goodbye to our old place on the leaving morning.
And right there, they were.
What do you think? Were you able to see it?
Yes.
Yeah? Did it match up with what you had seen in your head?
Yes.
Sometimes I get disappointed when I see the pictures, but these pictures help. Could you feel some of their feelings of sadness?
No.
Yes? Little? Excellent. Because one thing that we're going to keep practicing is that readers work really hard to see, but not just see it, because that would be like watching a movie without the sound. You have to hear it and feel it too. And we'll keep practicing this. I'm going to leave this up here in case anyone wants to reread The Leaving Morning. And now we are ready to get ourselves into our very exciting new study in fiction. Stand up and walk to a place where you can sit down for a minute. So get yourself into a circle. I want to make sure your bottoms don't fall asleep. Excuse me for a second. All right, we are going to do something that's going to be so much fun in reading I can barely stand it. I have a question for you. How many of you have seen the movie Men in Black? How many of you hope to see the movie Men in Black 2? Okay, hands down. How many of you have seen Stuart Little? How many of you went to see Stuart Little 2?
Is it out?
Is it out yet?
No,
It's coming out. How many of you want to see it come out? Excellent. How many of you have seen Dr. Dolittle? How many of you watched Dr. Dolittle 2?
Star Wars.
Excellent. Same with Star Wars. How many of you have seen a lot of the Star Wars? Excellent. All right, hands down, please. In movies, we like to see the movies and then the sequel, the one that comes next, because we get so excited about the first movie that we just have to see what happens in the second movie, right? Lots of us do that when we're watching movies. Well, in reading, we're going to do the same thing. Where good readers, when they get really, really excited about a story, they want to read a lot of other books with those same characters in it. And I've made sure that we have a lot of books because authors will get us excited about certain characters, and then when the story's over, we kind of say, what, the story's over? Oh, I want to read another book with the same characters in it. So we're going to start to study some series reading. We're going to study some of these books where if you really get to know Stuart Little well, there's another book with Stuart Little in it. And there's another book with Stuart Little in it. So that once you get connected to one character, you can keep following that character in the next few stories. We're going to work together on studying why readers would read books in a series. And the word is called series. Series means lots of books all connected. Like these are a series. This is called the Amber Brown series. Amber Brown, What a Trip, Amber Brown. This is an Amber Brown series. There's probably a third one and a fourth one, and there's also a grown-up one as well when she's in a higher grade. Another series that we have in our library is the Little Bill series, right behind Mercedes' head, because all the characters in Little Bill books keep showing up every single time. But we have to ask ourselves as readers, it's up here, Mercedes, what do readers think and talk about when they first read a book in a series? Like, why would you read more than one book in a row? So I'm going to read to you from this series called Poppleton. Does anyone know Poppleton? Do you like Poppleton? He's so much fun. I think he's hilarious. He's this pig. And then when you go back to independent reading, I've put you into some groups, and you're going to study some series. Because if you read lots of books in a series, it can help you do some great studying. And it can help you really get to know the characters very well. So our series study is going to have two parts. One is, what is this book all about? And then the second part is, how do I get to know this character better each time I read another book? I'm going to be reading all week, every single day. I'm going to read to you from Poppleton. I have 4 Poppleton books, and I hope to read a lot of stories about Poppleton so we can get to know him really, really well. The first story I'm going to read to you is called Dry Skin. I'm going to read you Dry Skin, and I want you to do something that I do when I get into reading a series. Is one of the first things I ask myself is, what do readers think and talk about when they first read a book? One of the things we talk about is the characters, because characters are so important. Yes, Mariela?
The characters also imagine what's going to happen when you read the title.
Yes, reading the title is an important thing to help us remember. Dry skin. Raise your hand if you know what dry skin is. When you have dry skin. Ruth, do you know what dry skin is?
When you don't put any cream on.
That's right. And how can you tell your skin is dry? What does it look like?
When it's all white.
It looks a little bit white. That's right. All right. Dry skin. Let's learn about Poppleton. Poppleton looked in the mirror one morning. Yikes, he cried. Dry skin! He looked closer. I'm flaking away. He's afraid his whole body's going to blow away. Poppleton called Cherry Sue. This is Cherry Sue. Cherry Sue, said Poppleton, I'm as dry as an old apple. What should I do? Put on some oil, said Cherry Sue. All right, said Poppleton. He put on some oil. What kind of oil did he put on? The food oil, right?
Yeah.
Poppleton's so silly. He put on food oil. Look at his little towel. But the next day, the dry skin was back. Poppleton called Cherry Sue again. I'm as dry as a dandelion, said Poppleton. Did you put on some oil? Asked Cherry Sue. It didn't help, said Poppleton. It just made me want French fries. So silly. Then put on some honey, said Cherry Sue. All right, said Poppleton. He put on some honey. What do you think? Is that going to help?
No.
What is honey going to do to you?
Make us.
Sticky and gross, that's right. But the next day, the dry skin was back. Poppleton called Cherry Sue. I'm as dry as a desert, said Poppleton. Did you put on some honey? Asked Cherry Sue. It didn't help, said Poppleton. It just made me want biscuits. I'll be right over, said Cherry Sue. Yeah, I'm starting to notice something about Poppleton already. On this page, the oil made him want to eat some French fries. And on this page, the honey made him want to eat some biscuits. So I'm wondering if Poppleton really likes to eat. I'm wondering that. And he seems a little bit silly. Let's keep going. When she walked into Poppleton's house, Cherry Sue saw 20 empty French fry bags and a chair full of crumbs. Told you, said Poppleton. Let me see your dry skin, said Cherry Sue. Poppleton leaned over. Cherry Sue looked very closely. Poppleton, you don't have dry skin, said Cherry Sue. I don't, asked Poppleton. You have lint, said Cherry Sue. Lint? Asked Poppleton. Where did I get lint? From that old sweater, said Cherry Sue. What is lint? Does anyone have any idea what lint is? The writer says from the old sweater. What is lint? Lint. Yes?
Is it from like if you wear black pants, there's white stuff all over the black pants?
Yeah. Lint is that like white stuff, you know, that if I put a white piece of fabric on these black pants, it would leave the little white stuff? That's lint. So what's all over his body?
Lint.
Yeah, little white stuff from his sweater. From that old sweater, said Cherry Sue. Poppleton, have you been wearing the same linty sweater for 3 days? Asked Cherry Sue. Poppleton hung his head. I can be such a pig, he said. I'll be right back, said Cherry Sue. So she came back with a lint brush. No llama can be without one, she said. Poppleton brushed away the lint and threw away the bags and swept away the crumbs. So she brought him a brush to take care of that lint.
Sometimes the brushes on the inside are like red.
That's true. They are a red lint brush, or sometimes they look like a big piece of masking tape. I feel like a new pig, Poppleton said to Cherry Sue. You look like one, said Cherry Sue, especially with that new wart on your nose. A wart! Poppleton screamed, running for the mirror. Cherry Sue giggled all the way home. A wart's a little bump, yes? So, just from this little story, I'd like you to talk about, what do you know about Poppleton as a pig and Cherry Sue? What can you say about this story so far? Talk to each other. What is this all about? What is Poppleton all about?
Yeah.